Start clapping right now for your and my good friend, Josh Johnson, everybody. Let's go. Let's go.
You know, I try to be optimistic about things, everything. So I'm not complaining. I didn't know how to take it. I'm still sort of blown away by it. Like, Trump and Mamdani met in the White House. I don't know if this feels like real life. This is crazy. All right, in case you're not familiar with Zohran Mamdani, he is the mayor-elect of New York City. And he won the Democratic primary, and then he went on to win the mayoral race against not-so-stiff competition. No, it wasn't great. But he won and everything, and the entire time leading up, the whole campaign, he was campaigned against hard by not just his opponents, but by like special interests, by billionaires, and specifically by the president. The president didn't want Mamdani to win at all. The president was over here tweeting hard. Tweeting like you could tell he was pressing the buttons extra hard on all caps all the time, wanted to let you know he meant business. Ain't nobody playing with y'all. And so he was tweeting, and not tweeting, like not tweet because he got his own thing, he got that Truth Social thing, but like nobody, I don't know anybody who downloaded it, so then everything he tweet on there ends up on Twitter, so he basically still tweeting, but it's just like he has a platform now where he's like the only influencer. Like, I don't know a single other truther, you know what I mean? Like, no one else I know is posting truths but him. And so he's over here, you know, talking about how he's gonna mobilize the National Guard if Zohran Mamdani wins, just like really wild stuff. Really hates the idea of him winning. Zohran calls himself a Democratic Socialist, and Trump was like, no, he's a communist. He's a communist in disguise. It's like, I don't even know what that means. That's, I don't know, that's, okay, I guess. Man said free pre-K, and Trump was like, that must be communism. You know communists, you know those people that want everybody to eat, you know. He wants a city-run grocery store or whatever. That sounds like communism. Get these communist apples out of my grocery stores. Just saying stuff that, I don't know, just didn't really make sense. And for his part, you know, Zohran only really brought up Trump when asked. He wasn't just one of these people that was campaigning on like opposing Trump specifically. You know what I mean? Like, and it's wild that those two are supposed to go be in the same place. Do you know what I mean? That's wild. He invited him to the White House. Zohran better than me. I would have been like, nah, that sounds like a setup. I know a setup when I see one. Nah, I'm good. You're not gonna Fred Hampton me. No way. And look, I get why, like, I really do get why he would go, though. You know, he is the mayor of a city with millions of people who need the resources of the federal government, resources that have been threatened. So I understand going. I'm just saying he's better than me. Much better than me. I've been invited to friends' houses and not gone because I'm like, I think they're mad at me. No, I think it's gonna be awkward. I don't know, might be a tense conversation. Just stay home. But yeah, crazy. Because you gotta remember, leading up, it's so funny how we treat political figures, and not just political figures, but even like historical figures, where there's these cutoff points. There are these checkpoints where we forget everything that happened up until the next point in their story. You know? So now that Mamdani won, a lot of the stuff people were saying, they're just not saying anymore, and everyone kind of forgot it. But you rewind like 2 months ago, hysteria, like real hysteria around the idea of him winning. You know, people were over here being like, Zoran Mamdani, he invented Islam. How we gonna let somebody like that be mayor? You know, if he wins as mayor, the whole country is gonna be under Sharia law. I don't think you know what a mayor does. You had people, this is worrisome. I saw this and I prayed it was fake, and it turns out it's true. The story was getting so much national attention, and everybody was following the race so closely that Tuesday, there were people in other states that went to vote for or against Zoran Mamdani. I can't believe how much of this country is missing a civics class. Like, this is terrifying. The idea is so many people would show up in like Virginia and then vote. I mean, it kind of tricked some people into voting. I'm sure there were some people who weren't even going to go vote, but they were like, I got to stop this. I got to stop this terrorist from getting in. And then goes to the polls, doesn't see Zoran's name, and they're like, well, while I'm here. Oh, true hysteria around the idea. Because you remember, there were people who said if he wins, immediately New York is going to slip into the ocean or something. There are some people that don't even understand that Eric Adams is still the mayor. Do you know what I mean? That's why I think politics really sucks for someone who like wants to get in, change things, everything. There were people, so Mamdani wins, and the next day there were people being like, what he gonna do about the potholes? I already fell in the pothole. He's not the mayor yet. Well, he won, didn't he? That dude's going to the White House to meet with the president. President Trump. I think that we think, because he's been in our faces so long, that we really understand Trump. I don't think we do. I think that Trump is an enigma, and I don't mean that in a deep way. I mean that there's two ways to be like an enigma. You can be an enigma by being like a deep philosophical, like Alan Watts type that's just like looking at a star and just like pontificating for the rest of the night on like what it means to already be dead by the time we see you and be so far away, but it feels like you're in like my peripheral at the same time. But or you could be an enigma by just walking into a room and be like, blah, 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 blah. We don't really know why either person does either thing. We just sort of know that's what's happening. And so Mamdani goes over to the White House and they have a meeting, and like there have been a few people that have met with Trump that I genuinely wish I could have been like an invisible man in the room for. There's been some phone calls he's had. I remember first term. It was like first term. He's on the phone with a couple world leaders in one day. Like he's calling Mexico, he's calling Australia, he's calling. And it was the first time that we got a glimpse, because there were leaks of what the conversation was. It was the first time we got a glimpse of what it would be like for him to govern, you know? Because he was on the phone, he was talking about, you know, hey, look, I said, he's talking with Mexico, he's like, I said I would like get y'all to build the wall and everything. Just listen, just don't say you won't build it. I said you gonna pay for it, nobody gonna check the receipts, all right? We just gonna build the wall, you just don't say anything, okay? They ask you about it, be like, ooh, I don't know. Just keep saying you don't know. We gonna build the wall and it'll be fine, but just don't tell him. And sure enough, they leaked that conversation. They leaked the conversation where he's like, kind of trying to like make a deal, but isn't being the like hard negotiator it seemed like he was gonna be on the campaign trail, right? And that first term had a lot of leaks. Because then apparently Trump called again. It was like, what the hell, man? Thought you were chill. And they get in the room. Because you also got to remember, Trump been campaigning hard against him, so it's a little embarrassing to have to invite this dude now. Because imagine you said all this stuff and then. Dang, y'all aren't gonna like this at all, but the closest thing to what Trump must feel seeing Mamdani in the White House, even though he invited him, after campaigning so hard against him, and then seeing how many people love him and how well he could potentially do. The only thing that's even close to it, in high school, one of our friends got pregnant, right? And she was wondering what she should do, right? And then there was one of our friends that was like, I don't think you're ready to be, you know, a mom. Like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just saying, like, you're not even passing algebra. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe, just saying. You were asking our opinion, I'm throwing my opinion out there. Maybe. And then, you know, she had the baby, right? And baby's doing well, she's doing well, and she's still friends with her friend. So now her friend just gotta like hang out with this kid she campaigned against. That's tough. That's tough. You know? And so you would think Mamdani coming to the White House and meeting with Trump, I don't know, they're gonna get in a room and fight or something. I don't know. Like, because you gotta remember, Trump has been on like high alert. He been tense for a while. It's been bad. Everybody keep asking about Epstein. I imagine Trump try to go to McDonald's and order, and they're like, but what about Epstein? Do you know what I mean? It's a lot. And so he already on edge. This probably isn't the best time to meet him for the first time. That does just crack me up. Imagine Trump really trying to treat himself too, like taking himself to McDonald's in like his car, like not even being driven. And he's like, yeah, can I get 2 Big Macs and 6-piece nugget? Get a large Diet Coke, another large Diet Coke, and an apple pie. And they're like, sure, anything else? And he's like, a McFlurry, too. And they're like, All right. Your order is 48.25. What about Epstein? Like, what? And I don't know. This seems like he's not having a great year, right? And now you're meeting him as somebody he campaigned against hard. And then they're in a room together. Nobody knows what was like the vibe in the room except the people in it, which I can't imagine there were too many. And then they left the room and you're thinking, wow, this is it. Trump probably gonna mobilize a National Guard and everything. It's bad. And then they get out there and it seemed super friendly. It was genuinely insane. I didn't know how to take it. I've been trying to get people to stop fighting all year and listen to each other. There's two people who could be more diametrically opposed on the political spectrum do it, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know if I like this at all. Deeply upsetting. And then, Trump sitting there, Zoran standing there. That was a weird dynamic. That was like, that part was uncomfortable. I was like, he's got to stand at the desk, like it's show and tell, like. But then, they're talking to the press, and it's like more than cordial. It's like he's like really hyping Mamdani up. He's like, he really beat the odds and everything, and I admire him a lot. And he's over here doing his thing. Young man, bright future for the city and everything. And I was watching like, what? It would be like. This feeling, I'm not even saying this is bad. I don't know if I can trust it yet. You gotta forgive me, I'm black in America. But I'm telling you right now, watching that press conference, it felt like, oh, y'all are pretty white. You'll understand what I'm saying. Okay. This feels like what I imagine y'all would feel like if you had all your friends come to Thanksgiving, and then just because of the seating, just by accident, your most racist uncle was sat next to like your young black friend, right? And so you're expecting, oh no, this is about to be terrible. And then out of nowhere, your most racist uncle just starts talking to your black friend about a Tribe Called Quest. You wouldn't be upset. You'd probably be pretty relieved, but you'd also be like, what? How does he know so much about Tribe Called Quest? No. Whole thing was very weird, and I wasn't the only one that was weirded out. Like, I wasn't the only one that was shocked. The media was also shocked. Shocked and seemingly a little upset. Because he's over here hyping Mamdani up. And I don't know if they got the first question, but I think they did. First question, New York Post was like, First question was trying to ruin the vibe. It's like, Mr. Donnie, during your campaign, you called the president a despot, a fascist. Do you regret any of those statements? Did meeting him change your mind in any way, or do you still hold those beliefs about the president who's right next to you? You know, like when somebody really trying to stir something up? You know when somebody's trying to stir something up and they do that thing where they're like, ooh, I wouldn't take that if I was you. I don't... Ooh, wow. They said that about my mama. I don't know what I would do if you... Ooh, that's bad. Wow. No, you better than me. You better than me, because I'm not scared to slap somebody. You know what I mean? You know, you see those people who really try to stir something up there, ask them, you know, what do you say? And he was like, the president and I have had many disagreements, but I'm glad that we could have a meeting about the things that we agree upon, and it's a future for the city. It's to do well for New Yorkers, and I think that we can work together in cooperation. And then... You even see Trump. You even see Trump just like looking at him like... Then he finished just answering the question, and then Trump is like, despot, I've been called a lot worse. I don't even know who asked the next question. I saw another clip with somebody just as upset as New York Post was over here. Newsmax or whatever, I don't know who it was, but they were like, yeah, you seem to think that most of the president's tactics were that of a dictator. You actually called him a fascist several times on the campaign trail. Do you still hold those beliefs? And then Trump, out of nowhere, interrupting, out of nowhere, goes, you can just say yes. Like, you can say yes. You can just say yes. It's easier. It's easier if you just say yes. I was like, what is happening? This is crazy. It's like watching Aladdin. And then they went through all that just to like hang out with Jafar. You know what I mean? Crazy. What? And look, maybe it's gonna be fine. I don't know. That was... I guess you can only have so much energy. You know what I mean? You can only fight so many people. And you also gotta remember that, like, Zoran has a real gift. He has a real gift. He has real charisma. He has just a real presence about him. You know? Deeply charming. Even if you don't like his politics, it's hard to admit that he really energizes people. And that's a special thing, especially now. To be a Democrat that energizes people. There's not many. There's not many at all. There's a depressing amount. There's actually so few that I'm genuinely worried about even the midterms. I don't know. This might be bad. Because, wow. Sometimes, especially when you see like the top brass, you know what I mean? Like you see like Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries on TV, and you're like, well, uh-oh. Do you know what I mean? Like, Hakeem Jeffries got the vibe of somebody who is like, even when he's like low-key trying to do the right thing, Hakeem Jeffries will step up and get in front of you in a way where you're like, oh, don't. Like, you know, like, it would be like if you got bullied at school and then your dad really wanted to do something about it. But you were like, Dad, you little too. Like, you can't. You know what I mean? Your dad's like, no, let me go talk to him, you know? And dad thinks that just because he a dad, he gonna talk to the bully and the kid's gonna be scared. And it's like, y'all eye level. That's not gonna work. And, you know, what if he starts swinging? You anemic and everything? Like, you can't. And so a part of me does get how this could happen, because Zoran's actually a charming person. You know, and he's energized people. And you even saw Trump be like, I think that there are some conservatives that are gonna love him too. I'm like, what world are we living in? What? It just it low-key feel like they got in that room alone and Zoran slipped Trump a 20. Like, it's just... What is happening? What did he say to him? But I get it, because, you know, he's actually, you know, charismatic person, and Trump is surrounded, especially in this second term, more so than the first. The first term, Trump was surrounded by... you know, some sycophants and everything, but mostly people who were very, very deeply qualified and boring. He started out with a bunch of people who really knew how to do the job, and he fired most of them almost immediately because they were like, oh, you can't do that. And he was like, get him out of here. He was firing people hard. That first term, remember, I don't even know how to say his dude's name right. Reince Priebus, what's his name? Reince Priebus. He fired that dude on a runway. Like, that dude had to walk back from the tarmac. Maybe I'm imagining it, but I feel like it was raining. Like, it was... And then he had to fire that dude that was the White House press secretary, Sean Spicer. The next time we saw Sean Spicer, he was on Dancing with the Stars. And we were like, how? You not even fit. Like, what's it? I don't even know who his partner was, but he was letting her do all the work. He was over here. He'd do that first twirl, and then she'd do 16 spins and come back around to him and everything, and he... That first term, he was surrounded by people, you know, Rex Tillerson. He had all these people around him who, you know, mildly competent but deeply boring, and then they wouldn't do what he would do in their situation. They're like, no, we have to, and they had, like, you know, a little bit of rule of law in there, even though plenty of things were contested as unconstitutional, but there were still people who had a bit of a thicker barrier than I think his agenda and the people around him were expecting, right? And so firing. This time he didn't really have that problem. This time he came in with people fully prepared to do whatever he said, like loyalists, you know? But the problem with, like, sycophants, the problem with loyalists, especially loyalists that are, like, deeply incompetent, is that they do annoy you. Like, they do bum you out. Like, it doesn't even look like he's having that much fun when he gets complimented anymore. Like that first term when everyone would sit around and compliment him, he really looked like he was getting ice cream. Like, he was having a great day, you know. This time he's sitting there, and then Pam Bondi's like, thank you for being the smartest, most greatest president of all time. And he's like, hey, yeah. Doesn't even feel like she mean it. Like, so to have Mamdani, who knows? Maybe Mamdani, like, gave him a compliment that was like, oh, wow. You noticed? Or just somebody who can hold a conversation. That might be different, you know? That might be way different. Trump, you gotta keep in mind how much Trump is surrounded by people who are charisma sucks. Like they just, like even when Trump is like trying to be funny, I'm sure they ruin it. Trump might even try to make a joke. And then they don't know because they're trying to be a loyalist so hard, they don't even know he's making a joke. So then they're like, do you want us to do that? Do you want us to... It's not fun at all. You know? It is a funny idea to me though that maybe, even for like who Trump is, he would rather hang out with Zoran than like J.D. Vance. Like it's like the idea that he also like knows the score. Like the idea that he's around JD and he's like, this sucks. This is like, it's like, is he squinting or is he smiling? I cannot tell. Because you got to remember, first term, that dude. Who did he have? What did he have? He had Mike Pence. This man was trying to be president, had Mike Pence at every turn, just around the corner, like one of those kids from The Shining, just like, anything you need me to do, Mr. President? Mike Pence too locked in. He was. Like, even when he would do an interview, you'd be like, oh, this is maybe the most humorless person I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, at least JD is cringe. Like, he's like trying to be funny. You know, sometimes he'll tell a joke and he'll have his own laugh at the end of it. And it's like, yeah, that's not gonna trick us into laughing. That's not how jokes work. There was that weird, he tried to tell some weird joke. I think he was talking to the troops or something. And he was like, you know, I asked my staff earlier, I was going over jokes. We were joking. And I asked them if I should do one of the jokes that I just told that we all laughed at. And they were like, sir, please don't do that one. What just happened? What happened? What was that? That's insane. You are now laughing at a thing we didn't hear. We are not in your head. That's what Trump is around. It's just that guy, or you go to the past and it's just someone being like, so you want to like pray? Apparently Mike Pence prayed around Trump so much Trump started bringing it up. He was like, you gotta get rid of this guy. Every time we're alone, he tried to pray on me, and his first one was nice. The next 12 are very upsetting. Ooh. You know? Because prayers aren't bad. It's always nice when somebody's like, hey, can I pray for you? I'm always like, yeah. But if they were like, can I pray for you? And I was like, yeah. And then they prayed for me. And I was like, thank you. And then I saw them 5 minutes later and they were like, can I pray for you? I'd be like, what's happening? What do you... Now I feel like you praying at me. Like you, like... Now I feel like you prayed something and it didn't work and you trying again. No. So then he's in there with Mamdani and they have whatever conversation they have. I'm sure we'll find out little pieces of it later or whatever. Maybe it's out now, I don't know. I watched the press conference and that was about all I could take. Because I'm not saying, here's the thing, I'm not saying that cooperation is bad. I'm not saying that building, building relationships that benefit people is what politics should be. That's what all the leaders should do, is like put any general differences aside and make sure that they're at least like serving the people that they were put in place to serve. I'm not saying any form of of real cooperation is bad. I'm just saying, like, if this is a Black Mirror episode, I would like to wake up now.
It's awesome to be here with you in Calgary. I appreciate y'all so much. It's really great to be here in Canada to get a break. Because when you live in the U.S., you like live there. And it's like all the time. Like you there like every day. Like unless you travel, you there every day. It's all happening all the time. You have the notification on your phone. It's bad. It's every day you wake up, you're like, oh, again. No, it's rough. It's not the best time. It is not great right now. You know. And I'm impressed by you all because you all keep up with your news and our news. Like, you know what's going on here, you know what's going on, where we are and stuff. And yeah, I know that you're probably concerned because you read the news and it's close. But trust, we are more concerned because When I was a kid, there's this kid, I was just call him Laquan because rhymes with his name. But I always wanted to be really good at like climbing a tree. Like when I was reading stories growing up, some of my favorite characters were like very outdoorsy and they could climb trees real fast and everything. Maybe that'd be half the story was climbing the tree. And I just didn't have the grip. Out of fear of heights, I would just slide down. I didn't have it like that, but Laquan was fast. Was like, up here, and just knew like where to put the foot to get the hand. To just had like an awareness of everywhere that his body was, and he was able to get really high. And then one day I was seeing a neighbor. The neighbor was like, "Did you hear about Laquan?" I was like, No, I didn't hear what happened. He was like, "Oh, he fell out of the tree, and basically he got really high, but then a branch snapped, and so he had fallen, and then he bounced a couple times, and then he bounced between branches and just kind of hit every. You ever played pinball? He basically did that all the way down to where the actual final landing was pretty soft because every branch before that really broke his fall from what would have been a dangerous fall was now more of a plop with several lumps all over his body, right? And hearing that story was like painful because the kid that was telling me about it was there. So he was describing it in great detail. He was like, and then he was like, boom, and then he was like, boom, and then there was one branch he hit, he was like, oh! And hearing it was like jarring, I can only imagine what it would have been like to be Laquan falling out of the tree. And that's what it's kind of like to be in the U.S. as you like hear. So boom, boom, ow! Boom, boom, boom. Oh! Boom. Because I try when I go to different places to read a little bit of their news. I have to admit to you that I am not like so internationally minded all the time that I'm reading everybody's news all the time. I'm mostly focused on the news where I'm at. But in preparation, coming to Canada. I've been coming to Canada off and on for the past 2 weeks, and I've been reading news of the places that I've been going to, and let me just say, truly, it has been so sweet. It has been fundamentally adorable to read and watch your news delivered with such earnestness, as if these are real emergencies. They're not, I guarantee you they're not. To just... the way, okay. Even today, you know, I went to Montreal, went to Ottawa, Calgary, and I was in Ottawa, and just watching some local news, reading an article, and it was like, a man was pulled over speeding. I mean, where are you off to in such a hurry, buddy? Is the car not enough? Is the vehicle not enough? You have to punch it. Maybe you should have left earlier, all right? Maybe think about that. Think about your own safety, safety of others, you know? Speeding. Now, look at yourself. Got yourself pulled over, now you're late, all right? A man today was pulled over speeding, and when the police pulled him over, it turns out he had drugs in his vehicle. I just think about the parents, you know? I think about... Sure, he was 45, but where did this start? Oh, something must be going on at home, you know? You know, because marijuana is legal. He had drugs. He had narcotics. You see that news and you're like, oh, that's adorable. No. Meanwhile, you'll turn on the news, living in the States, and they'll just be, a man in Kentucky found dead, just legs. We don't know where. We have no idea what happened to the top half. It is just legs. We're assuming it's a man. These could be any legs, really. We just sort of said man because of the size of the shoes, but while we're at it, let's just be on the lookout for anyone. If you see any top halves missing a bottom half, please call this hotline. You know, you see it. You see it all around, even here. You know, come here, turn on the news, maybe read some news, and you see people angry, distraught. They're Canadians in Calgary, furious, right? Interviewing them, and they're like, I can't believe that our city, I can't believe that the province would put a sign right here. A sign right here, like a sign right here. I've parked here for years. What are they thinking? This is what happens when you lose connection to the people, all right? Meanwhile, in the U.S., Trump is trying to defund Elmo. I didn't do it. No, it's up for everybody. Bert, Ernie, Cookie Monster, anybody can get it. Nobody's safe. And so you see, when you come here and you get a break, you see people like upset about something, but it's not like an umbrella of an issue. It's just their issue. You know what I mean? There's just something going on with them personally. That's refreshing. It really is. As small or as big as the personal problem is, it's nice, It's nice to be able to talk to someone and get a sense of what's wrong with them. They're not having a good day. They're not happy, very angry or upset, but you're getting something from them that isn't this thing that it feels like no one can do anything about, Like, met a man in Montreal, and we just casually started chatting, and he seemed like something was wrong, and I don't know what led me to do it, but I was just like, how's your day going, And he was like, she left. Meanwhile, in the U.S., if you ask someone how their day is going, depending on who you ask, depending on the state or city, you're gonna get a very different answer. But a lot of the people that I've asked, hey, how's your day going? Maybe I'm just at a store. They're ringing me up. I'm like, how's your day going today? And then they're like, oh, you didn't hear? You didn't hear? He's outlawing reading. It's over. No, it's rough because then, we have Trump wins. I know y'all saw. And then he's talking wild. He's like, Canada's going to be the 51st state, right? I didn't say it. I do think, though, that one of the reasons, even the dog, even the dog. Dogs don't even have an understanding of geographical boundaries or borders, and even the dog. That's wow. Did y'all do that on purpose? I know you've been booing every time somebody says 51st state. Did you teach the dogs to also? I think one of the things that did happen with that is that he said it in a way that was so glib and was so dismissive of not just Canada's autonomy, but also he didn't even try to woo you. And I think it's because it's a hard sell. You know what I mean? You're telling me you don't want to be part of the United States, you don't want to get shot for free? No, in the U.S., let me tell you something. In the U.S., the United States of America, you get shot for free. You only have to pay to take the bullet out. You don't want to have the health care you have now, but not, you don't want to. No, you don't want your 12-year-old to read at a 12-month-old level. Why? I look around, I ask, why? You don't want to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to an insurance company that will act like they don't know you when you call to fulfill your claim. Come on. Come on. You don't want to make the only food you can afford, food that you kind of don't even question what meat it is after a while. All right. Teach their own. Because look, it is a tough sell to be the 51st. I don't think that it would really work. One, because of the things that we're used to, Just in government alone, you have a parliamentary process. We have Congress, right? You have several parties. You have lots of parties to choose from. I say lots because we have 2. So even 3 would be like, wow! More and more of the U.S. when you travel, it just feels like as someone from the States, when I go to other places and I'm learning whether it's their culture, different processes of government or just customs or something, I always come off like I'm not used to anything. Like they took me on a date and I got to the table and I was like, salt and pepper. Because that's what I'm used to. That's the totality of the spice rack of American politics. You get your salt and you get your pepper. Meanwhile, y'all have paprika. I'm not saying it's perfect. You have these 5 parties, only 3 are probably ever gonna win, but you get these choices, these different pushes, In the US, oof. We got Republicans, we got Democrats, and we got Jill Stein. I've been learning about your parties. I really didn't realize how much deeper it went as far as the seats and the majority, and that no confidence vote is a pretty big thing. That's crazy. A no confidence vote, okay. Look, because I found out about no confidence, and I was blown away. So basically, I know you live here. I'm not telling you what it is, I'm telling you how I found out what it was, right? Okay, so with the no confidence vote, which is basically, if I have it right, it's when you have your leadership party in power, but everybody is they're bad. This is horrible. I don't even know if they know what they're doing. And then you talk to them in interviews and they're like, look, we don't know, but we gonna figure it out. And so then you have no confidence in them. So then, they get pushed to a no confidence vote. They get that no confidence vote. Then, you have to rejig the government. Basically have to be all right, y'all are not it. Let's get somebody who is it, right? And that, as someone from the States, that blows my mind. That you can just not have confidence. That you cannot have confidence in your leadership and you don't have to wait. Because trust me, it's not just this election. There have been plenty of elections throughout my entire life where people voted, somebody won, and the confidence dwindled within about 6 weeks. And then we were like, oh, in 3 years and some change, you're gonna find out how we the people feel. I hope you're ready for that. No, I don't think you can get people who are a part of a system that has a parliamentary process that has no confidence votes and then give them what we have in the US. I don't know if that would go well to be no, I know we voted for him, but that was a different time, and we didn't know that he was out of his mind. We didn't know that he was completely. When he was talking, when he was running, all the brains seemed like they were in the head. And so people were like, I like that what he said? I think, yeah. And then he won, and then we realized that the brains were gone. And now we have no confidence, and we should do something about that presently, right? Before there's no food on the shelves. A lack of choice was how I knew I was broke. Yeah, I mean, when I was like out on my own for the first time, I had a choice between these two types of cereals I could afford. One was like a little corn pop thing. Whatever it was the only ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. And then there was this other cereal that was like, okay, I'm positive it was for people. I'm 100% positive it was for people, but it was built like dog food, okay? It just had a very pellety look to it. It had when you poured it, it had the brrr of like pellet. Didn't help it also went in a bowl, right? And that was what I did, back and forth, because I was broke. And I just had these two choices. I could just go from one to the other, and one got me real, like, jittery and excited, and I usually crashed by like 2 p.m. And then the other one definitely felt like I should be barking if I'm eating it. Then I got a little bit of money in my pocket. Ooh, I got spoiled for choice. Then I didn't even know what to do. I'd buy some cereal and I'd be like, it's good, but it's not the best. It's fine. Completely forgetting it could have just been these two. You know, that's what it feels like. Look outside looking in, that you have like a whole parliamentary process. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm sure you have your problems. I get that. You don't tell anybody, but I'm positive that you have your own problems. I get it. And I understand people's frustration. I know that there's been strikes in Canada. I know that there are people that are worried about housing. A lot of the same things that people are worried about in other countries. It's not as if I'm projecting some like absolute heaven and haven onto you. I know that it's a country full of people and people have problems. It's just we have more. It's a lot, yeah, I mean. It's a lot, and I don't think that it would work, you know, because even with a prime minister versus a president, your prime minister still fits in that legislative branch, you know. There's a lot of things reining your prime minister in, no matter who they are, and a president we're coming to realize by accident is a king. That's a king. We thought we left, and we really did. We were like, we don't want a king. Get out of here, Britain. And Britain was like, give it a couple hundred years. You'll want one. No, because we have this different branch, this executive branch where the president's power resides, that is deciding to not really pay attention to or heed our legislative or judicial branch, you know, because it's really the legislative branch that's supposed to decide if we defund Elmo. That's really their purview, but he was like, no, I'm the only one that gets to look like this. You most recently had a decision to make. You most recently had an election. And, I was here before the election, now I'm here after the election, and I was never gonna tell anybody what to do. I did, while I was in Montreal and Ottawa, tell people to just like look across the fence. Just check if you like that. You know, because they always say that the grass is greener, but sometimes your neighbor doesn't have grass. Sometimes it's just a Buick on blocks. is tough. You know, because then our news would become your news. Because look, don't be wrong, like I said, I'm fully aware, and I also believe I'm open to the ideas that Canada has problems I'm not even aware of, right? Like there's a chance, I'm imagining, right? If you're in the right place at the right time for this bad thing to happen, if you go out into one of your beautiful parks and you where you're not supposed to be, you playing around, it's possible to get bit by a moose. Right? It's not all roses and bubbles over here. You can really get got over in Canada, right? You could get bit by a moose if you put yourself in that situation. If you really stay in those neighborhoods, you know what I mean? If you're really trying to live that lifestyle, you know? That's what comes with it. But trust me when I tell you, you're not ready for daily U.S. news. Sure, you could get bit by a moose here, but just the other day, a man used an alligator to rob a liquor store. Which is one of the more effective robberies you can engage in, right? You know, because you walk in to a liquor store, I'm assuming to buy some alcohol, make a night of it, you know? And then there are people in the US that are desperate. You know, desperate because we don't share the same social safety nets, we won't even share some of the same attitudes around a network of community the way that Canadians do as a baseline. I know not everybody agrees, and you have your conservatives, your liberals and everything, but for the most part, there's a genuine understanding that like, okay, healthcare, we're gonna have that, we're gonna do our best with housing, we're gonna do our best with all these things, right? And in the US, it's mostly like, hey, get it how you live. And sometimes getting it how you live includes robbing a liquor store, going to where you know there will be cash, going there with an alligator that might be a pet. I have no idea. I truly don't know if this is a pet or if this is an alligator that he found, or if this is an alligator that he like going in on it with. He's like, look, if I get the cash, because look, I do like the idea of them being partners. I do like the idea of them getting together and being like, listen, all right, you like raw chicken, you like raw chicken thighs, okay? If I have cash, I can buy that stuff, I can give you some of that, so we'll split it in chicken thighs and cash. Cash to me, chicken thighs to you, just so that we're clear, right? So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna pick you up like a puppy, right? But then I'm gonna grab the back of your tail, I'm gonna swing you around, right? And when I swing you around, I want you to be like, ah! Just really make a show of it, keep the mouth open, let them know what could happen if they don't act right, right? Because he didn't go in, this man did not walk in holding it like a rifle, like anybody can get it. Hey, don't move, right? No, this man came in, swinging gator at people, right? And people couldn't run out fast enough. Now, it was a mistake to start swinging it in the doorway because you really only want the actual cashier to be intimidated. Now, you've made 8 people think, all right, it's all of us against him, the alligator. You have more adversaries than is necessary. You know, then you try to get the cash and everything, but it's hard to get the cash because the alligator, he's not really thinking like a robber. Alligator was told to do his thing, so he doing his thing. You know, like that wiggle that they do, going as hard as he can, throwing hip, right? Like, alligators don't have booty, but if they did, he'd be twerking, right? Snapping and everything, which does make it hard to get the cash, right? Because now this cashier trying to put it all in his hand. This dude didn't have a bag. So now he just got to stuff cash in his pocket while holding on to the tail of the alligator. And the alligator, you know, I don't know, I don't speak alligator, but I'm assuming the alligator is like, is this part of it? Because after a while, the alligator is being more difficult than helpful, right? stuff, and then he runs out, you know, they call the cops and everything. And look, I can't imagine what it's like to be a cop that gets the call that there's someone robbing a liquor store with an alligator. I'm sure those cops were like, couldn't it just be a gun? No, you're not ready for news like that. You know, because I'm sure, look, there's property crimes, there's violent crimes everywhere in the world. You know, you have your crime. But it seems like, from what I've been reading about your crime, that it does, and I don't mean this in like an insensitive way, but it does seem like most of your crime kind of like makes sense. Like you get to the bottom of it, and it's like, oh, he wanted what he had, and so he stole it from him, right? The US has a lot of weird crime because a lot of our resources have been shut down, right? So some of the crime is not necessarily just to do the crime, it's just people doing what they think is necessary in their head that happens to be a crime. Like, a good example was, there was a man who called the police because he broke into this restaurant, right? Broke into the restaurant and I think he just wanted food. That's what I'm gathering from like the call. So he just wanted food. He called in to 911 and they were like, 911, what's your emergency, right? And he's telling them off top, look, okay, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. All right, I did break in here, get a little something to eat, make a little snack, all right? But somebody else is in here and y'all need to come quickly. Like, I'm all for a little burglary, but somebody in here being weird, like y'all need to come for real. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, please come arrest me. Because this is my thing as well, is that Canada would only become the 51st state by legislation or by force. It's not gonna happen by legislation, because even if the more conservative counterparts of your government really wanted it, the people have made clear that they don't want it, right? And so then there would be steps taken, there'd be no confidence, there'd be all these things to stop that thing from happening. And the one thing that I don't think people are counting on is, even if there was an attempt to do it by force, people think that Canadians don't fight. But your favorite sport, your favorite sport in the world, you have access to all the sports. You have access to all the sports. I understand it gets very cold here, but the one that you picked was the one where a fight could break out at any time. And not just like break out. Like sometimes there's a reason. Sometimes there's a clear, I don't really follow hockey because mainly I can't see it. I want to follow it so bad. Everybody seems like they're having a good time, but every time I've watched hockey, I've had to pretend that I know what's happening. You know what I mean? It's like being tone deaf watching like a singing show, like a singing competition, like watching X Factor tone deaf, and then you're just waiting for other people to cheer, so you're like, oh, they getting it, no. Yeah, actually, no, you're right, they bad. No. Anytime I've watched hockey, I've just seen the people's heads move. I've tried to move my head where their head moves, and I tried to look at where I think they're looking at and everything. And then you hear the clicking and the clacking of the sticks and stuff. And sometimes it'll click clack extra, so I'm like, oh, the puck must be over there, but it's not. It's not at all. It's actually over here. I don't know what they're doing over there. And then somebody will be rammed into a wall, a clear wall, so you can see. I've never seen only in hockey and adult films have I seen somebody pressed up against glass like this. The way they... Wow. Wow. That, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, ooh, y'all think he gonna come through? No, and then you have the fights. And the fights are very interesting to me. Truly, because it's like, there's a strange energy to the fights. No, you never really know when they're gonna pop off, and sometimes there's a backstory. Sometimes it's like, oh, look, 3 games ago. You don't just have fights, you have drama with the fights. You have a real soap opera to follow. And then you see them and throw those gloves off. I remember the first time I saw it, they threw the gloves off and I was like, ooh, won't your hands get cold? And then they go swinging each other. And then what I really love is they grab the jersey for leverage. Missing, horribly, missing, nothing but missing. And really try to get close. Come here. Missing. But every once in a while, you get somebody with incredible balance and hand-eye coordination. They throw those gloves off, they grab them. You would think they weren't on skates. They swinging around and sliding, but they're still like... Incredible. Anytime, anybody can get it. Incredible stuff. People really believe that Canadians don't fight, that they don't have fight in them. We didn't know you had booze, But I knew because a while back, I saw a news story that took place in Canada, trying to be international. And I saw this news story about a man who was woken up in the night when 2 burglars broke into his home and were trying to figure out what they could take. They clearly hadn't done a good job casing his residence. So they're just looking for whatever, right? And then he wakes up, and let me first say this. If someone breaks into my home and is looking for what to steal, I don't know if I'm gonna confront them immediately. I think I might try to come up with a plan. Maybe I'll pretend I'm a ghost. They break in, I go to the closet that's closest to a vent. I'm like, spirits live here, y'all better stop, you gonna have to return it or something, like, you gonna be haunted, you don't wanna be haunted, I don't care how big you are, you can't fight haunted. Everything in here cursed. You don't want those problems. Maybe that doesn't work. Maybe they're not afraid of ghosts. Maybe they don't believe in ghosts. Maybe they know it's me. Plan B. I'm act like a bigger man. They haven't seen me yet. No. Lean around the corner.
Hey! Hey, don't make me put my killing shoes on. Yeah, you lucky I don't have my shoes on right, because if I put my shoes, ooh, everybody dying in here.
Because that's plan C. To act like my own dog. You know? Lean into my phone, make a recording, put on the ground, slide it down after I hit play. That way they think it's behind them. I'm probably gonna cough. Trying to bark makes me cough. And then, last resort, yeah, might have to fight them. No, I have to just run up on them and do what men do. And I have to roll up on them real quick and start biting as hard as I can. Yeah, please believe you're gonna wish it was a dog when I get done, all right? I brushed and I flossed tonight, so get ready. No, but these dudes, they broke into this guy's home and they had ski masks on, and I don't know about you, but if somebody already got the ski mask on, it just makes me feel like they're a professional criminal. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got the ski mask on already, I'm like, uh-oh, this is real crime we're dealing with right now. And this dude doesn't hesitate at all. And all he got on is his shorts, by the way. He just like shorts, no shirt, anything, and he starts pushing them up against the wall, and he starts fighting both of them, and really swinging, and they're swinging at him, and he's taking some hits, but he's giving a lot. Just bow, 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 bow. He's like fight juggling them. Because he'll hit one and that one will fall, and then he gets to concentrate on this one for a second. Bow, 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 and then this one gets up, he's like, you can get some too, bow, right? And then their fight, he puts up a real fight to the point where at first they're ganging up on him. And then they're both like, look, I don't know how nice this apartment is. Maybe nothing in here is worth these lumps we're catching. And so then they try to leave. But he does keep punching them as they're trying to leave. He does just keep whooping ass as they're clearly turned around trying to exit now. He like trying to choke one from behind and kick the other one. And then they run out. They run out of his home. He successfully defended his castle. But then he does also leave. So then he left. I was like, uh-oh. And then you just see in the security camera in his garage, him drag one of them back in. And I was like, normally, in the US, there's a sentiment around this sort of thing. Like, there's warnings, it's like, you know, there's yard signs, don't come unless you're armed, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a very frenzied passion, there's a fever dream in the US of legally being able to kill someone that comes into your home. We like it a lot. There are some people that are like, please break in, I want to kill you, right? And that is almost always so that the person who wants to do the killing can use a gun. They want to shoot someone. They want to be able to shoot someone. And this man, this Canadian, he didn't have a gun. He desperately wanted to use these hands. He brought them back into the, I don't even know what crime this is now. Like, this was burglary, and it has turned to kidnapping, I think. I don't know if it can still be self-defense if you dragging him back in. And dragging him by the top of the ski mask, too, so he over here kicking, fighting going backwards, right? And so then he brings that dude back in, punching, closes the door. This dude tried to get up against the door. He throws it back down and locks the door. And I was like,
y'all done accidentally broke into the devil's house. That's crazy. And I think he had one of those things where instead of a key, it was like a combination thing. So as soon as you put in the combination, the lock will start to turn, because that's what's happening. Because now the dude who was the second burglar, he must have been running and realized nobody was behind him. So then he comes back and he trying to get in, and then this dude just keep relocking it, right? So then finally, you know, this dude just manages to get the ski mask off the guy, so now he sees his face. Now his face is on the camera and everything. But then, I don't know how well this burglar could fight. It didn't seem like well at all. But he does finally like create like a little butterfly situation with his legs, which destabilizes the homeowner. So that guy falls to the ground. Then he goes for his own takedown on the burglar, but the burglar swings down, sits, and just has him in like a headlock, but not a headlock that's like effective. It looks like a headlock just so he can catch a break. You know, so when you see Trump talk about like a 51st state, I feel like if I worked at the White House, I would just bring an iPad and like, Mr. President, this is what they do.